Greetings, salutations, and welcome to Sportslook, the sports television program for the high plains of West Texas and eastern New Mexico. I'm your host, Doc Elder, and since nothing says springtime like the sound of baseballs and softballs pinging off bats, we've got a softball coach, Amanda Fiefel. We've got a baseball coach, Riley Price. I'll finish up with an overtime, but as always, I'll start out with an Eastern recap. Really good showing by the Greyhound men and women at the Western Texas Rodeo this past weekend. Best performance, Trent Wood. He and his partner finished fourth in the team roping. And Greyhound track and field, the men and the women competed in the Masked Rider Invitational at Texas Tech this past weekend. Best event clearly was the 5,000-meter run, where Dorcas Kozgai finished second for the women in that event, and Kelvin Kipkemboy finished third in that event. Well, that has been your Eastern recap, so we'll clear this out and I'll bring in Amanda Fiefel right now. Welcome back to Sportslook, and a privilege to bring back to the set Amanda Fiefel, the head coach of Greyhound softball. And coach, there are two things that I've noticed so far this season. Number one, the wind is always going to blow on Friday when you're in town. And number two, you're always going to play at least one nationally ranked team every weekend.
Absolutely. So it's like today, the days off are beautiful. And then the days we play, it's 35 miles an hour wind, but those are the conditions we both play in. But yes, the LST is very competitive, 1 through 16. So for us, it's a battle every weekend that we have to go out there.
Did you honestly think the league was going to be that good coming into the season, or have there been some teams that have really been overachieving?
I think the ones that we knew right from the get-go, the UT Tylers, Angelo, we haven't played WT yet, but of course WT, Commerce, Kingsville. I mean, I can go down the list. Top half of our schedule was all nationally ranked teams. This past weekend, Oklahoma Christian was up there as well. Even the ones that aren't ranked, it's always a dogfight. So yes, I knew, but at the same time, I think where we are, we're in, I guess, very competitive games. And as far as that goes, we might not be ranked, but our record by no means shows how competitive and how into it we are. You know, one timely hit away, one strikeout away of really breaking things open.
And that really has been the case. And I'm not just saying it because you're nice enough to be my guest here on Sportslook, but if you look at the run differential, sometimes it's like, yeah, you're getting outscored a lot, and so that explains the record. But really, you haven't. I mean, you're losing games 7-4 or 8-5, things of that nature.
Yeah, beginning half of the conference as well. Lost to UT Tyler, who was the number one ranked team in the nation. We were winning that entire game until what I'm going to say the sixth inning. And then we ended up losing 6-3. We were up the entire game. So again, it's timely errors, unfortunately. I want to say wrong timely errors that are getting us, but at the same time, not really breaking it open. We were talking about earlier, you know, leaving runners on base. I think that's one of the things we've been struggling with. We're getting them on, we're just not getting them in. So again, timely hitting is really going to be imperative for us these last 12 games. I think this half of the conference and schedule for us, we're neck and neck. I think either one can pull out which way or the other.
And sometimes when you fail to deliver at the plate, it's just because you're being overpowered at the plate. Sometimes you're just trying to, you want to succeed so badly, you're taking yourself out of what works for you. So kind of a combination of both.
Yeah, I think we're overthinking a little bit. I think a couple of our hitters are really putting a lot of pressure on themselves. A lot of the ones that are in the, you know, I would say probably 1 through 5, they're really trying to do too much at this point. I think I want to see them up there aggressive, but at the same time, I want them being smart aggressive. And so I think when we get into the later innings of the game, our approach gets a lot better just because we know we need to have a quality at bat in order to get on base so that we can prolong the inning, get runners in scoring position. So I want that mindset from them the entire time. I think this past game, we really did a better job at the bottom half of the lineup, turning things over to get back to our key hitters. So I really want to see a lot more of that. I know that was kind of our Achilles at the beginning of the season. Probably 7 through 9 was really not producing the way they should be. But as far as that goes, these past couple games, they found a way, whether it was getting hit by a pitch, drawing a walk, bunting the ball. They were putting more pressure on the defense than typical than what they have been. And so I think that's what I want from them moving forward as well.
I know I talked to you about it when you were first hired, and I'm curious to see if your philosophy has changed. We talked about some coaches look at on-base percentage. Don't care how they get on base. They get on base.
Yep.
They deserve playing time. Others, it's like, no, if they're just getting lucky, that's not really a good reason to play. I want people that have a better batting average. And what is your kind of thinking right now when you make your lineup?
Well, as of right now, you know, I think for the most part, we're going same thing, on base percentage. Batting average is one of those things that, you know, you need the people in front of you to really get things going at the same time. But for me, I want to look at the on-base percentage, exactly how you said it. I think for me, too, moving forward, how I position my hitters, I want to be more productive middle half to bottom half to get back to the top. But at the same time, you know, I want to also kind of space in there some people that can execute small ball. So if it's a tight game, I'm able to bunt them over, maybe a potential steal threat, things of that nature. And I think that's really just the dynamic of our lineup, especially in softball. You have a lot of small ball, a lot of lefties, slappers to put pressure, the speed down the first base line. We do have four that really can get down there on the left side. So I think for me, spacing that out, making sure I have my big hitters in the right area so that if they do get on, we can produce a little bit more RBI wise.
Well, Coach, you did have home games last weekend. You played Friday against nationally ranked Oklahoma Christian. You played Sunday against Cameron, not nationally ranked, but still pretty good. And we had a crew filming highlights. So let's cue up the highlight reel and please walk us through it.
Obviously, Brooke Ledger's there on the mound. Just very, very specific with her pitch location there, trying to get one. Actually, number 21 right there is top 5 in the nation that just hit that pop up there in batting average. Same thing there, going rise ball up and in at our hands, really trying to get their aggressive hitters to get jammed, not really getting barrel extension on anything. So here she actually got a hold of something to the outside half, curveball that didn't really break. Clarissa there, freshman, in left field, really staying with the ball with the wind. Could have went out either way, but she really stuck with it. Good 0-2 pitcher, 1-2, 0-1. It was an 0-1 count there, so really getting her to chase out a zone, producing a ground ball. So small ball, like we were talking about, trying to move runners over, no outs at that point, really trying to get in scoring position for top of the lineup. You can see Mackenzie Patterson there, number 3. She's a lefty, going to put some speed on the bases for us. Same thing there, really getting a jam pitch in so that we can produce an out. Now here was supposed to be an infield fly, had miscommunication, but we were able to get a double play. We went to third on that. Then she turns and she doesn't see it there. Yep, she turns, go to second base, and we got a double play out of that. So again, small ball, 1 out, just putting runners in scoring position. I want to say it was top of the lineup again coming up after Clarissa, so more production at the top.
You can see the movement on that pitch.
So Brooke is really very specific with her spot location, specific spin. She has the ability to break east to west, but at the same time go up. Her changeup, you know, sometimes a little spotty, but when it's on, it's on. But I think she is our ace on staff as far as spin and speed. I think she is more better when she is able to pinpoint her rise ball, pinpoint her curve ball. She can shut down any team, nationally ranked or not. I think it's just, you know, again, timely hitting for us at any point. But she's keeping us in games along the way the entire time, really producing quality outs for us. When she gets hit hard, it's more likely, like you were saying, ball's going to stay flat. Their shortstop had a little miscue there, but again, putting pressure on their defense, getting in scoring position, trying to take that base. Luckily, getting in there to second base for that. This was, I believe, at the bottom of the 7th for us. So again, just trying to produce runs in the later half of the inning. So again here, I believe this is Ashley Lucero. Yep, just get a little poke there at 0-2, driving another run there. But again, quality of bats, no matter what the situation is, we want to barrel a ball up and at least put it in play to get some type of production, especially with runners in scoring position.
And from what you were telling me, and I didn't get a chance to see your Sunday games because I was broadcasting Greyhound baseball, but little bit of a discussion to start the second game of the doubleheader.
Yeah, so Cameron, obviously, it was that game. It was the second game of our series against them. And so their pitcher was called for an illegal pitch. I want to say the third pitch of the game. She was not in contact with the rubber. In softball, you have to have a connection with the rubber with your front foot. At the time of pivoting, she was airborne. Umpire caught it, had a 55-minute delay for the most part, had to go all the way up to Vicki Van Cleek, who was the NCAA Rules Committee coordinator, to get the final verification on that. So it was, needless to say, a momentum killer for sure, but we got the right call in our favor, and so we had illegal pitches called on her just because of, obviously, the rule.
Well, Coach, obviously the Lone Star Conference is really, really tough and not that many games left. So what realistically are you'd like to win your last,
Yeah, yeah.
16 games of the season, but realistic, what would you be satisfied with?
I'll be honest with you. Same thing, like I said, I don't think our record dictates how well our young ladies are playing. Again, 2-1 ball games, 3-6 ball games against nationally ranked teams. What they've done from last year to this year is very transformative. I think that's the biggest thing that I can say is the positive across the board. For me, I want them to still be competitive. I think we have a great shot of splitting, if not taking a couple series here coming up. I just want them mentally to stay engaged and focused on that outcome. I think they're ready to do it. I think we've had a hard road up to this point with, like I said, every team that we played all the way up until last week. And with Cameron was the first not nationally ranked team that we saw. And so for that being said, the last 12 games that we do have, I like my chances. I like my odds.
Well, Coach, it's really been a pleasure watching your team. And I'm not just saying it because you're here in the studio, but tremendous progress from last year to this year. And let's hope we continue to play well the last part of the season. And good luck signing people in the offseason.
Great. Thanks, Doc.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap up our first interview segment. So what we'll do is we'll clear this out and then we'll bring in Riley Price right now. Welcome back to Sportslook, and a privilege to bring back to the set of Sportslook the head coach of Greyhound Baseball, Riley Price. And Coach, one thing I've learned this season, you guys are pretty tough to beat at Greyhound Field.
Yeah. It's just nice to play at home again, and our guys love it. And it helps too. I mean, we've had such a good fan base this year too. I mean, it seems like more and more people are coming out, seeing big groups of kids and everything. So it's definitely special for our guys to play at home. And we call it the boneyard. Our guys made that up at the beginning of this year, and so we kind of rolled with it. But other teams have a hard time here. They're not used to kind of the way our field plays with some missing grass patches and the way our infield plays. It kind of gets to them a little bit. And for some reason, those night games, the other teams they've lost it mentally a few times with the umpire, whether it's assistant coach and a couple ejections. So I don't know what it is about the boneyard, but it gets the people going a little bit.
And I totally agree with you. I mean, it's been great to see every weekend series. There are more and more people that are coming out. And to a certain extent, it may just be that the weather's nicer, but I think the major reason is they know you guys are going to put a quality product on the field.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we compete, and win some ball games, it does. It brings the people out a little bit, and they don't want to just come and, watch a team lose. They want to see a good competition and whether it's a close game or us winning. And so I think that's what they come out for. And obviously the weather's been, getting nicer. So.
Well, Coach, if you look at the two first series that you played in Lone Star Conference competition, not the best record, but you were playing two really good teams. And since that time, you guys have been right in the thick of things no matter who you play.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, just, with a pretty inconsistent fall, we had a lot of guys battling for spots, and, the guys that are on the field right now getting the majority of the playing time, just kind of, they won jobs, and there's some guys biting at their heels right now that may get some opportunities. But we kind of settled in and started to figure out who we were as a team. Still always looking for more consistency, because we definitely have our ups and downs. I mean, you'll see us get shut out one game against a pitcher who's not as good as the next game, but we'll put up 12 runs the next game. So it's an odd group offensively. But you know, pitching's been semi-consistent, which has been keeping us in games longer. But offensively, yeah, you know, this is for probably my first year where, you know, just showing up, you know, I think we're having a great BP and all of a sudden it's just, you know, it's not working out for us. But, you know, and then we'll show up game two like a whole different team. So,
The one thing I've been impressed with, and obviously there won't be voting until the season's over, but if Juan De La Riva doesn't get a lot of votes for Freshman of the Year, there's something wrong with Lone Star Conference.
yeah, Noah Del Riva, yeah, he's just really impressed me, you know. And he knows who he is as a pitcher. And as a true freshman, just he has no fear, you know. And I actually used him as an example in the dugout, you know, just talking about, you know, what we need to do the next 4 weeks, and where our head needs to be at. And you know, that was one of the things I talked about, just having no fear. You know, you have nothing to lose. You're expected to lose against these top, you know, top of the nation teams. I said they're the ones nervous to play you because you know you're fighters and you're going to find a way to scrap a win and compete. But yeah, Noah has been super consistent. You know, we have, you know, he's the guy I want to put out there Friday night to set the tone of the weekend because we know we're going to get strikes. We know that he's going to compete in the zone with 3 different pitches and keep teams off balance. And he doesn't, you know, if he gets a home run hit off of him or hit hard, it doesn't phase him. And so very, very mature pitcher.
And obviously, you've got other guys that you can throw. Ruger Bravo pitches for you, and he's got like 15 different delivery points that he can throw from.
Yeah, he's your typical lefty, you know, and he has a great pickoff move, and it's been called a balk twice. I don't agree with it, especially the explanations I get, you know, when I ask why it was a balk. Doesn't make much sense to me if you look at the rules, but you know, he definitely loves to mix things up on the mound. You know, he'll go slow, he'll go fast, he'll have a quick pitch in there, and he throws like 4 different pitches as well, so that helps him out. You know, so one thing I noticed about Ruger, he pitched so well at Oklahoma Christian when we really needed him to after losing a tough one late on a walk-off, or not a walk-off, but they had to hit a grand slam to go up. But the next game, you know, for us to bounce back after a tough loss like that, he showed a lot of leadership, and he just told me he was mad. You know, he's like, you know, I was a little peed off, and you know, I knew my team needed me right there to throw a great game, and he did. So he threw, you know, only allowed 1 run against a really good offense at their place. And I said, well, let me know what makes you mad, because so I can make you a little mad before you pitch next. So no, he's been really finding it, you know, and giving us a good chance.
For anybody who's seen the movie White Men Can't Jump, that's what Woody Harrelson does.
Yep.
Wesley Snipes in that movie, make him mad. This past weekend, you played against St. Mary's, a team that was right with you in the standings. And it looked for a while on Sunday like you might get a split because they were up on you 9-5. And next thing I know, you guys are up 17-9. And what was the key?
Taking advantage of their mistakes. You know, I wasn't really, you know, happy with the weekend. Honestly, there was a lot of ugly baseball as far as the walks, free bases, uncompetitive innings at bats, and the execution wise. But you know what I told this group after Sunday's game is, you know, although some of these weren't pretty this weekend, what's most important is you found a way to win. And we're a momentum team, and if you notice, you know, we put up a lot of runs in specific innings. You know, and so we were disciplined at the plate, and you know, after one guy steps up and has a good approach and you know gets a hit, you know, it just kind of follows, and hitting's contagious. And but yeah, they made a lot of mistakes, and they made more than we did. You know, and I told them that going in. I said, you know, who's going to win this series right now is who makes the least amount of mistakes, and we did 3 out of the 4.
Well, Coach, we actually had a crew out on Sunday to film your game. We've got a highlight reel, so let's cue that up and please walk us through it.
Awesome. You got Nick Schiffner. Stayed through a ball, nice. Kept his hands in, and you know, again, he's an upperclassman that gets us going. You know, guys really follow after him after he gets a hit, and he's been, you know, showed some great leadership this year. Definitely a spark in our lineup. If he's on, we're on. And same with this guy, Spencer Roach. He's something else. Very unorthodox, but you know, he very, very, very good hitter. Really
Yeah,
got-
you wouldn't teach his stance to little leaguers.
you know, he knows when to simplify, and you know, sometimes the swing gets a little big, but when there's Cam hit the ball hard, yeah. I'm gonna have to get on him a little bit. He needs to be a little harder out of the box, but he's fast. You know, he's a good runner, and we like to hit triples this year, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Dalton Thatcher on the mound. Got a bite at the slider there, and Quintana with the catch. And like we were talking about earlier, you know, the wind blows a lot here, so you know we do fly ball communication quite a bit. Another pass ball. Boy, they had a lot of pass balls, a lot of wild pitches to give us an opportunity to score. And again, anytime you get a runner on second and third, you score in position, it kind of puts more pressure on that pitcher. So there's Sammy getting out front on one, just doing a job right there. No, that was huge, you know, getting the run in right there to tie it.
Yep.
Shifter going the other way on one. The Boneyard ate him up.
Yep.
And we're up. Spencer Roach again. He crushes that one. Gets all the way to the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some power. Need him to get back to healthy. He's kind of got a knee thing going on, so hopefully he can start running a little better. Another pop up there. And Mr. Cam, phenomenal outfielder, tons of range. Has been really, really good for us, and he steals a lot of hits away from
Yes, he
teams.
does.
Javier Luna on the mound gets a pop fly to end it. Cooper, Hamilton, and Wright.
Yeah, so Cooper was the hero for you in game 2 of the doubleheader on Saturday at the plate, gets the walk-off hit where they intentionally walk a right-hander to get to him, and then he makes the big play defensively to end the game in game 4.
Yeah, had no doubts. You know, when they walked Sammy Williamson to get to the lefty-lefty matchup against Cooper, you know, their pitcher was already upset that the coach made him intentionally walk him, but you know, that's not a bad move on a coach's part in most cases. I'm a little biased though, because I was a left-handed hitter and I liked lefties over the top, and I know Cooper does too. We have these conversations all the time, and it really just simplifies him to make sure his front shoulder stays down and, you know, tracks it in from a lefty. And you know, and I'm glad he didn't guess curveball first pitch, because he threw a fastball and Cooper was on time with it, and came up huge in a big situation. And he's been doing that all year, and he's another one that sparks our lineup quite a bit.
And speaking of stepping it up, Javier Luna coming in a pressure-packed situation and throwing some quality pitches for you.
Yeah, no, it's good. You know, he hasn't thrown in a while. You know, just the timing of things and who he needed to step up. But he's got a really good slider, and we're just trying to get that fastball back and more consistency with him. But he's been good out of the pen.
And Coach, I have to compliment you. I was broadcasting your game on Friday night, both for the Lone Star Conference and local radio. And bases loaded, 2 outs, 8th inning, and you pick a kid off at first base. And I said, nobody ever does that, but because nobody ever does it, that's why it works.
Yeah, no, we work on that play. You know, it's a timing play, and I don't want to give it away in case someone else is watching, but it's a call that's made, and we work on it at practice all the time. And they did get a little big over there, the lead at first, and you know, and our pitching coach is the one that initiates the call. And you know, I saw him over there, and I said, hey, we really needed to get out of that inning because we weren't throwing strikes. There was a tight zone. We needed to get out of it to minimize right there, and you know, didn't want to walk another guy to let a run in. And I was like, you know, we might have a chance at this. And I named the play, and we executed it. And so it worked out for us. And, you know, just got to see little things like that sometimes, and they'll get you out of a pinch.
Well, Coach, there's a big log jam that's trying to get that seventh and final spot in the Lone Star Conference because that's the last one that's going to the playoffs. And wish you the best of luck. I hope that we get the seventh or sixth spot, and I hope I get a chance to broadcast some postseason baseball.
I appreciate it. Look forward to it.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap up the interview segment of Sportslook. So what we'll do is we'll clear the set, and I'll finish up with an overtime right now. We have congratulations tonight to Marilyn Upchurch, yet another former member of the Sportslook crew that has secured a sweet gig in broadcasting for when she graduates. Even though she won't graduate until May, she's already inked a contract with an Albuquerque TV station. And so, for all of you in the listening audience and the viewing audience that would like to be in television someday, you don't have to go to Eastern New Mexico University and be a part of Sportslook, but it obviously doesn't hurt. Just saying. Well, that will wrap up an overtime, and that will wrap up an episode of Sportslook. I'd like to thank my guests, Amanda Fiefel from Greyhound Softball, Riley Price from Baseball. John doing a great job of running the floor for me once again. So for those aforementioned people, this is Doc Elder saying, so long.